1101. That's a claim that you refused to give information to or cooperate with a police officer on April 7th.
Mr. Doctor.
Please don't interrupt. And the second count is a claim that you resisted arrest. I will read to you the first count in the 01 case. It's a claim that on or about the 7th day of April 2016 in the city of Bremerton, the above named defendant, Mark Fontaine, while operating or in charge of a vehicle, did refuse, when requested by a police officer, to give his name or address and the name and address of the owner of the vehicle, or gave a false name and address, or refused or neglected to stop when signaled to do so by a police officer, or refused upon demand of the police officer to produce the certificate of license, registration of the vehicle, an insurance card, or the vehicle driver's license, or refused to permit the examination of any equipment of such vehicle or the weighing of such vehicle, or refused or neglected to provide the certificate of license, registration of such vehicle, insurance card, or vehicle driver's license when requested by a court. Do you have a copy of the complaint? I don't see it in front of you. Were you provided with a copy of this when you were in jail?
No, sir.
Okay, so would you like
No,
to?
James. I have yet to see a charging document.
Okay, here you go. We'll get you.
Objection.
In the next case, 50901102.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sorry, are you going to interrupt me again?
No, I'm not
Hang on,
trying to
I'm going to
interrupt.
get you a copy of that complaint, which is what you requested. Now I'm going to move on to the next case, and if you'll be quiet, I'll read that to you, okay?
Well, I'm objecting right now.
What are you objecting to? I thought you wanted a copy of the complaint.
I asked for the nature and cause.
Okay, here it is.
I want.
Come on up here and get it.
I
It's
want,
right here.
I want somebody that competent, whatever, to tell me.
Okay, I just
what
read the
charge-
complaint to you, sir.
That know that I did this. You don't know nothing about this, Mr. James.
I know that this has been filed against you.
It's filed.
Here it is. Come up here and get
Who
it.
filed it?
The city prosecutor.
Is he allowed to talk?
He's allowed to talk, but I'm talking.
I don't know this guy.
It
I
doesn't
don't
matter if
have
you
a
know.
business card for you.
Sir,
I
it
don't
doesn't
have a
matter if you
business
know.
card for anybody else in this room.
Okay, will you
He's-
quit talking for a second, please? In count 2, the city alleges that you intentionally prevented or attempted to prevent a police officer from lawfully arresting you. I'm going to have my clerk provide this to you now. Will you please go give that?
I believe
And this.
before I'm arrested in anything that's
Mr.
done.
Fontaine, for the record, the charging document is being handed to you now. It's right in front of you, as well as a rights form. Could you
Form.
please read over the rights form? Or
Or,
would you like me to read those to you as well?
no, you're reading them to me is not making me understand any of your stuff. You just read a bunch of stuff. I have no way. I couldn't keep up with it, so I don't even know what you said.
How far did you go in school?
I've been to college,
Okay, so you can read.
yes.
Okay, I'm going to give you a chance to read that.
Does it mean that I understand it?
I don't know, did you
Does that
graduate from
mean,
college?
does that word mean that I stand under this?
Please.
I'm here under duress, be it
You're not under
Armis.
duress.
Be it Armis.
So
At
you
the
came
point-
in on your own today. You're not here
At
under
the
duress.
point of a gun, for the threat of being arrested, right? I
No,
tried,
that's not right.
James?
Don't call me
man-
James.
Man to man.
Don't call me man to man.
I
Don't call me
am
James.
a man, you are a man. I have equal rights to you, to him, to her,
You have more
to
rights.
her. I guess maybe,
Why don't you read them, okay?
no, sir.
You're not going to read them.
Until you get a guy in here
For
that
the record-
swore on the stack of Bible, I swear right now, I'm gonna give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth. So help me God.
Okay, Mr. Fontaine.
I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and what you guys are doing is railroading.
Mr. Fontaine.
I have
Mr. Fontaine.
certain
Stop.
rights.
Stop. You have rights, they're right in front of you,
No,
and
That's a
if you won't
piece
read
of
them, I
paper.
will read them out loud to you.
that's a piece of paper.
Correct, they're written on a piece of paper so you can read them. The second document that my clerk just handed to you is the criminal complaint in the other case,
I object.
which is case number 50901102. This is an allegation that you trespassed in the second degree on April 8th. It's a claim that you knowingly entered or remained unlawfully on someone else's property. In particular,
Yeah. They, no. I object.
this is at 3200 Pine Road. Is that the city's allegation?
Normally you have charges,
No, the allegation in the O2 case is 2520 Cary Avenue.
Let me see that.
Oh, these are in the wrong.
Paper.
Okay, so these are reversed.
This is not shit.
So the second complaint that was just handed to you, Mr. Fontaine, is a claim that around 12:12 in the morning on April 8th, that you remained unlawfully at Harrison Hospital based on a report Officer Forbrag has written. They asked that you leave the hospital, that they released you and told you to leave, that you had been directed to leave, and you responded that you refused to leave because your rights had not been explained to you.
no. I believe I wouldn't leave because they were trying to kick me out with a hospital tag on, no shoes.
Sir, you have the right to remain silent. I strongly suggest you exercise that right.
Who are you?
I'm a defense attorney.
Are you my defense attorney?
Not yet, no.
No.
If you'd like to have me appointed, you can. That's one of your rights.
Well, I don't see my rights being upheld here.
Okay, well, you haven't apparently been willing to read your rights, Mr. Fontaine, so I'm gonna read them to you, okay? So
I'm aware
please stop.
of some of my rights, and
Please stop.
they're God-given.
Please stop.
And
For the
they're
record,
not constitutional rights, they're not civil rights, they're my God-given rights.
if you won't read the rights, I'm gonna read them to you, okay? You have the right to remain silent, you do not have to answer any questions, anything you say can be used against you, and you should be aware that everything is recorded. That's what these numbers over here mean.
So is this a court of record?
Yeah.
That means where's the
Or
court
it's-
stenographer at?
No, sorry, it's not a court of record, the court is recording.
So you're
what we're
reading
saying.
stuff and you're thinking that I should understand it.
Right, because you've been to
Because
college
I-
and you graduated college.
What does that mean?
It means you know how to read, and you know how to listen, and you know how to understand basic concepts and basic words. They wouldn't have graduated you if you
Mr.
hadn't.
Doctor.
Let me finish so we can make some progress here. I'm gonna leave in about 10 minutes. I just want you to know, you need to be patient and listen to me, or else I'll have you come back at 1:30, okay? So stop right now, I'm gonna read these to you. You have the right to a lawyer. You can either hire a lawyer, or if you want to ask the city to appoint a lawyer for you, you can interview to see if you qualify for a lawyer. Would you like the court to appoint a lawyer for you?
No, I do not want it.
So you can represent yourself, that's the third right that you have. You don't have to
His
have a lawyer.
first duty is
Hang on.
to the
Stop.
bar.
You can
and the
represent,
court.
you
It
can
is
represent
not to
yourself,
me.
Mr. Fontaine.
I'm trying to communicate here. If that's wrong, I don't know what.
That's
I'm doing.
wrong, because I first just want to make sure you understand your rights.
I understand that we are all created equal,
And you have the right to represent yourself.
and I have as many rights as you,
Sure,
right?
correct. Okay, let me go on to the next one.
And I got as many rights as this guy that's now armed over here.
Sir, this is all about you. This is not about everybody else in the court, okay? This is only about you.
I told you, I'm here under force of arms.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Didn't you walk in the door on your own?
Under the threat of force of arms,
Okay.
be it.
You also have the right to plead guilty or not guilty to these charges, Mr. Fontaine. If you plead not guilty, you have the right to have a jury trial, and you have the right to testify during the jury trial.
Objection,
You don't want that right?
objection, I have something to say.
Okay, how about if I just read your rights to you first, since you're unwilling to read them?
I
Then
don't
you
know
can say
about
whatever you
that.
want.
I don't know about that.
Okay,
All I
do you know what
is
a
I'm
jury
here-
is?
I'm here under force.
You're free to leave any time, Mr. Fontaine. You can walk out right now.
And then you guys are gonna come arrest me
I'm not,
with a gun. Well, somebody is under your control.
because you have a warrant out.
Why?
Because you didn't appear for court on April 11th.
You know, I didn't have any paperwork, so I don't know what you guys are referring to. I'm here under duress.
Okay, so, Mr. Fontaine, you have the right to a jury trial. At the jury trial, you have the right to testify, or you can remain silent. You have the right to call witnesses if you have witnesses on these two occasions. You have the right to cross-examine the government's witnesses. And if the jury finds you guilty of these crimes, you have the right to appeal.
You know all the elements for a nature and cause of jurisdiction? I haven't been proven any jurisdiction here yet.
What does that mean?
Jurisdiction is
Yeah,
like the first thing you gotta have.
I gotta have it, but I don't have to prove it.
I believe you do, sir.
If you want to file a motion objecting to the
I
court's
don't
authority,
motion,
you file
I
a motion.
request or require.
File it.
Require, I am a man.
You're a man,
That's
and
right.
you have to follow the rules just like everybody else. And so I'm not gonna spend all
So-
day, every day, establishing my jurisdiction to everybody that comes into the
It's
court.
supposed to be on this paperwork.
If you wanna.
It is supposed
Sir,
to be
you
on
get
this
out of here.
paperwork.
You leave right now.
On this paperwork,
Sir,
you have to
leave.
prove.
Please leave.
He's my counsel.
Please leave.
No, thank you.
Then be quiet.
He's my
No, thank you.
Yes, be quiet.
No, thank you.
Okay, you need to leave, or I'm gonna call the
No,
police.
I'm
I'll
sitting
find
right
you in
here.
contempt. Sir, I'm gonna find you in contempt of court, okay?
You're breaking the law, and I'm being quiet now.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I'm glad you got my point.
Thank you, we're making some progress.
It's supposed to be on that paperwork.
Ms. Fontaine, if you want to bring any motions about this court's authority, I want you to put them in writing, and you can file them at the next hearing.
I need to leave it to court and some pencil and paper, and I will file it right now.
No, you can't file right now.
Says who?
Me, I told you I have an appointment in 10 minutes, and I'm leaving.
Well,
If you want to file it, you can bring it back here.
we have
I'll tell you what.
problems here at court.
We
or
do.
Whatever this is.
Here's the
right
problem. You won't read the paperwork that I've handed to you, so you're making me read it out loud to you, and then you interrupt me, so you won't hear it.
now. Interrupting-
And then your friend over here interrupts me as well.
Objecting is not interrupting.
Yes, it is.
I'm trying to get,
It's the
Points across.
quintessential form of interrupting.
I'm sorry if you think I'm trying to do that. Whatever. I don't know who you are. Like I said, I haven't seen.
It doesn't really matter who I am.
Yes, it does,
No, it
sir.
doesn't.
If he's gonna be speaking in court,
He's not
he
going to
needs to
speak right
prove to
now.
me who he is.
No one seems to be able to speak because you're doing all the talking.
I don't believe I am, sir.
Okay, so will you let me finish reading these rights to you, since you refuse to read them?
You can read them.
Thank you.
But that don't mean I'm understanding all that's being said here.
Well, you graduated from college. How'd that happen?
Well, you know, I worked on airplanes for 20 years too, and you know what? I just scratching the surface there.
Okay.
I always felt inadequate with having that license to work on airplanes.
That's why you should have a lawyer, Mr. Fontaine, because the lawyers do understand this material.
And his first duty is to the bar, correct?
No, his first duty is to you.
No. I've read elsewhere that, no, that is not.
Well, if you want to ask me a question, you have to live with my
Okay,
answer.
I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you have a law license?
Do I have a law license?
Yes. Do you have a
Did I?
license to practice law in the state of Washington?
I do.
The Republic of Washington.
I have a license to practice law.
May I see it?
No,
Why not?
because I don't have time to go get it right now.
Well, I object.
Fine.
Okay.
Can I finish reading you your rights now?
You can read whatever you
Okay.
want.
So-
I'm not in charge of you.
Well, apparently, yeah, you're not in charge of me, but you do have the right to have these read to you, so
I
I'm going to go
have
through it.
God-given rights. Yes, I do.
If you are not a U.S. citizen, you have It's a possibility that these criminal charges would result in you being deported to your home country, and it would be difficult, or it could affect your ability to become a U.S. citizen. You also have the right to waive these rights that I've been over with you, sir, and plead guilty. If you want to plead guilty, you still have the right to testify at your sentencing hearing. Do you understand those rights?
Just because you're reading them don't mean I understand them.
That's why I'm asking. Do you
I
understand?
have copy of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
And the rights form that I gave you, apparently,
Um,
you put that somewhere.
I
Okay,
don't have it, no.
because what did you do?
Because I'm not signing for your paperwork.
I don't
It's your
care. What did you
paperwork.
do with the paperwork I gave you?
My buddy's got it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you have access to it.
If he wants to let me see it, I guess.
Do you want me to give you another copy?
It's not mine to keep, right? It's your paperwork.
I'm willing to give it to you.
Look, you were supposed to have this when I released from jail. You could be already taking my car, you sweated me, and then you guys are doing nothing, as I can see, that is with the rule of law. I am not getting this, right? You sweated me in jail.
What does sweated you mean? Now you're using words I don't understand.
That's put you in a cell, don't have any contact with anything, lights are on 24, there's no place to lay down. That's called sweating,
Okay.
that is against the law.
Okay.
So,
And who
you've
do you think
already-
did that?
I'm already being punished.
Who do you think did that?
Somebody attached to you, I don't know, because I have yet to get a business card from anybody. I don't even know that the cop declared, as far as I know, he declared a emergency for no seatbelts. I've already been, talked to one magistrate, I don't know who he is. Oh my God.
Do you want me to appoint a lawyer for you?
No, I do not want.
You're gonna
a
represent yourself, is that-
court-appointed lawyer.
Okay, that's fine. You can represent yourself. I'm not sure it's a good
I'm-
idea, but you can certainly do that.
I object right now.
Object to
I got
what?
more armed men here.
What are you objecting to now?
The armed men, I'm feeling threatened. I'm in fear for my life right now.
Sorry, I can't do anything about that.
Well, that gets them good enough, they can shoot people and they'd be, oh, I was scared. Well, I'm scared for my life.
Okay, Ms. Fontaine, I'm sorry you're scared for your life. I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty for you on both of these matters. And
Are
I'm gonna
you legally allowed to enter a plea for me?
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Okay. You say I'm not, I say I am. I'm entering a plea of not guilty for you.
Am I,
I'm gonna say,
as a man, am I presumed innocent
yeah,
of all charges?
yep.
Yes.
You willing to accept that one?
Yes,
object to that.
I'm presumed.
You don't object to that one, right?
Okay, that,
Beautiful. Now we're making some progress.
okay.
I'm glad you understand those rights. So, Mr. Fontaine, I'm gonna direct that you return to court. Listen to me, okay? Please listen to me.
I got something to say.
Please listen to me. I'm gonna direct that you return to court on May the 18th.
No, I want to clear this up now,
Listen to
sir.
me.
I'm ready to plead guilty when you put a man on the stand that says I harmed him. And I thought this was the way this was gonna go, but evidently not.
Okay.
I've already brought charges against the police officer, and I believe the judge. I don't know if that's how your stuff works.
Okay. Ms. Fontaine,
Look,
the cases that we're here on today, I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty for you, and I'm gonna direct that you come back for your next hearing
I have
on May the
charges.
18th at 1:30.
I have
If you don't
charges.
want to sign a promise to come back, that's fine. We have a record made that you are going to be here on that day, and if you decide not to come back, then there'll be a warrant for your arrest.
I gave this court $1,000. That's, I believe that's pretty substantial. I will come back for my money.
Beautiful.
All right?
Okay, so do you want to
So
sign the promise to be
I took the
back?
bail bondsman off of my case, or whatever it
Will you
is.
sign the promise to be back?
I'm not signing your stuff until you guys start producing some things I asked for.
Well, you gotta ask for them in writing. So as soon as you do that, we'll produce them. If you're entitled to that.
To get your business card and.
I don't have a business card. This is not a business. I don't have a business card.
object, and
I do have a
believe it
license
is
to
a
practice
business.
law.
I believe it is a business.
It's not a business.
I believe that you are required to have a license to practice law.
I do have a license. I do not have a business card.
Do you have a bar card?
Maybe. I don't know. It would have been 20 years ago that I practiced law.
Have you sworn an oath to protect and defend the Constitution?
Yes.
Of the state of Washington, the
And the United
Republic,
States. Yeah.
the Republic of Washington?
Yeah. Not the Republic, but the state.
No, I require the Republic because
Well, I
it
haven't
is a
done that.
Republic.
No, I haven't done that.
Well, if you're swearing your allegiance to some foreign entity, I don't know.
Okay. So you're gonna be back on May 18th at 1:30 in the afternoon in this courtroom.
I'm-
We're gonna be at recess.
I.
Make sure you're here.
Well, I'm glad that the record shows you refuse to prove jurisdiction.
As soon as he requests it in writing, he can have the answer.
I believe this was a court of record, it's on the record.
No, you were right. It's not a court record. It's on the record. but it's not-
Refusing to prove jurisdiction is a felony.
Take your hat off when you're in court.
You're a administrator.
Says you're gonna be back in court May
Look,
18th.
I told,
You're refusing to sign?
I'm not signing anything.
Mark, there'll be a warrant if you don't sign, no consensus.
All right.
Sign it, no consensus.
Yeah, let me see that thing here, right now. You know who you are?
Is there a reason why you're recording me, sir? Just curious.
Trying to protect my.
Okay, we'll go ahead and sign it and I'll give
I
you a
don't,
copy.
I don't want to do
I appreciate it.
any.
Oh, okay.
Here's Ben. How do I get a transcript of that, ma'am?
You can go downstairs and request it through the clerks.
A transcript of what happened to it?
Yep.
Do we have a camera? Do I get a video?
There is not a video in here.
What is that?
Well, that's security, I
That's
suppose.
security cameras.
Yeah.
Well, I would like
Okay.
it.
You'll need to
Copy
go
of that.
down there and address it down here. I can't give you any information up here, okay? But the clerk's office can help you downstairs.
Are you? Don't. Fine. Thank you.
We'll start looking up that brief for federal court. We'll start looking up that brief for federal court.
You got one?
You betcha. There you go.
Yeah, have yours too?
Sure.
Now, how do I request one for the guys that originally,
Request what?
pulled me over?
Okay, I don't know you, I don't know your circumstances, what brought you here. So if you're looking for the police report for whatever generated this,
Well, I'm not even sure if I got the right police officer. I requested a sergeant showed up. I don't know who either one of them were.
Okay,
can do it
if
when you
you go to
And
the,
when I tried to,
okay, if you go to the department,
I
at
carry-
25 Burwell Street,
So we'll leave
right
it.
up here, and you do a public records request for your name, they can get you the information you need.
thank you, sir.
Okay? Good luck to you.
He refused on record to prove jurisdiction after being pointed out there is no jurisdiction stated on this form. Every piece of paper they hand you has to have their jurisdiction stated.
Well, I hope I did fairly good.
Okay, how do I turn this off, Mark? The red button?